Good morning. I'd like to take a moment to explain why Prince George's County Public Schools should adopt the District Technology Training Plan that you have received. And I'll be giving you three reasons outlining the urgency and necessity of adopting the District Technology Training Plan as outlined in the document that you received. First of all, teaching has changed in many ways in the past few decades. Within the lifetime of most teachers, the average age of teachers currently being 41.8 years old, technology has gone from a niche interest on the fringes of pedagogical inquiry to becoming a main stage interest. Before the current technology boom of the late 20th century and now early 21st century, teachers and students were bound to the classroom. However, technology has begun to change how we teach, how students learn, and, in many ways, has changed the very foundation of the profession. Simply put, we're in a situation where it must be out with the old and in with the new. Not because of some trite reason, but because the new has benefits which go beyond just the traditional learning style. As you can see, the 20th century classroom focused on a very different format than the 21st century classroom, and we need to be preparing our teachers to teach in that type of classroom to meet the type of needs that our students now have. But there are some benefits to the teachers as well. Teachers can benefit from the new ways of teaching with technology. And it's important that we ensure that our teachers know how to use technology properly so that our students can have the best benefit. If we're expecting teachers to use technology in the classroom, but we're not properly training them how to use the technology, there are some dangers with the way that technology can be used improperly, which negatively affects students. But the technological changes of our society dictate for us that this cannot happen anymore, where we're teaching students in a way where they're not using technology. If our students are stuck learning in the old way, they're missing out on key skills that businesses are looking for: collaboration, investigation, research, team building, presentation skills. These are all the things that we must demand of our teachers incorporate into the classroom. And while these things are certainly possible without technology, they're made exceedingly easier with technology at hand. Yet many teachers do not yet know how to use the technology for these purposes, and many of those who are using technology for these purposes are not doing it correctly. So we must expect that our teachers not only teach their content, but the technology skills required for students to best use the knowledge gained in the content well. Technology brings us to a place where our students can best perform. And the constructivist teaching method is one that we have been pushing strongly in the classroom, and is one that technology can help benefit the learning goals that we have in our county. So, constructivist method focuses on, for example, students at the center of instruction, and technology can benefit that particular goal because it allows our students to create and utilize different types of presentation software so that the students are indeed at the center of the instruction and that we're putting them at the front of the instruction, at the front of the classroom, giving presentations and showing other students and the teacher how they have learned in the process. Also, it emphasizes discussion-based learning. And with discussion based learning, there's a lot of technology out there that can help us get the students not only discussing, but also showing what they mean and proving their points. We have student response systems, for example, to help us with discussion based learning. But we also have different types of technology that are computer based that will help with discussions. And there's inquiry-based learning, and that deals with a lot of research, and we need the technology in order to properly get our students researching and answering the big questions about why things are the way they are. Now, aside from the teacher benefit, obviously there is a benefit to students that we're looking to have in the classroom using technology. So, just as we expect that our teachers adapt to meet the demands of an ever changing, technology focused society, so too must we expect that our students meet those demands as well. In the past, we simply expected our students to absorb information, study endless stream of notes, and read thousands of pages of textbooks and take assessments to prove that they could simply restate the same information. That is not what we're looking for in the 21st century. And businesses are not necessarily looking for students to just be able to rehash information, they're looking for creativity. And that's where technology comes into play. Very little attention then was given to creativity in the form of application, of presentation, of collaboration, or even of student evaluation of resources and knowledge like we are expecting them to show now. The new student, that is the student of the 21st century, is one that through investment, through investigation, knows not only the details of something but can evaluate a source. We should invest in the district technology training program in order to help create that atmosphere because the technology that we need and the training that we need to give our teachers is what we're looking for. So the new student that we're looking to try to help create or try to help encourage is a student who uses technology thoughtfully to investigate, research, and learn, and will be constantly engaged in the learning process beyond the classroom. Likewise, the new student will become a master at presenting their ideas intelligently, as well as having extensive knowledge on how to properly evaluate what they're learning and what others have made. So we're looking at a 21st century student who is well rounded in the type of skills that we ourselves have as teachers. So we're not simply teaching our students knowledge, we're teaching them the type of skills that are required to create knowledge and evaluate knowledge. So with properly trained teachers, we're able to dramatically change the way the classroom looks, and that is really important. But we also must be aware that if we do not train our teachers correctly, they do run the risk of using technology in ways that are more damaging than they are beneficial. And so, with increased use of technology, does come the need to ensure the teachers are using it properly. And Mayer and Moreno identify the dangers of multimedia learning that is not discerned properly, particularly the cognitive overload that can come when teachers are using too much multimedia in ways that make students lose the information or not gain as much information in the learning process as they could gain. And so that's something to be aware of, and it's something we need to train for as well. And so that's something that is in the technology proposal that we need to focus on. But properly trained teachers will help our students benefit in the classroom in several different ways. One is that they'll help our students move beyond rows. Rows are a 20th century type of teaching style that doesn't work well with technology. It doesn't work well with the goals that we have for our students. So we need to move beyond the simple rows of the classroom. Also, we need to have teachers utilizing technology to take our students beyond the classroom. And they need to explore their world and their knowledge in a real world aspect. So going beyond the classroom, using technology to investigate the big problems that they're trying to solve in our classrooms is really important. The day to day life will no longer be clearly defined regarding when the class ends and when life begins as well. And this is, in essence, how we create students who are not just lifelong learners, but living learners. And we need our technology to help us put the students at the front of the classroom. That is our big goal, one of the big goals that we have, but we need to make sure that our students are the ones who are taking charge of instruction and who are not just rehashing information, but being able to present information in a way that is informatory in a way that is educational to those who are actually viewing it. So, in essence, we are training our students to become us, to become teachers as well. And finally, a big aspect of why we need to focus on this district technology training program is that data is becoming a big part of what we do in education. There's high school assessments, there's park testing, there's attendance data, there's behavior data, there's all types of data. And all of this data cannot really be properly collected or disseminated without the use of technology. But our teachers need to be trained on how to use data properly. They need to be trained on how to collect it, on how to organize it, on how to use it when they have it to actually make benefits in their classroom. And so the district technology training program does focus on how teachers can actually use data um, and use technology that we have available to them to actually benefit themselves and benefit their students in the classroom. So as we try to figure out, do we need the DTTP? Yes, we do. Our teachers must keep up with the change in teaching methods. That's important. And technology will help them keep up with the definite changes that are happening in our society regarding technology. Our students are already using technology, but we want to ensure that our students are using it for educational purposes and that our teachers know how to direct them in the uses of technology educational purposes. And we need to ensure that our and finally, we need to ensure that we are using technology for data gathering and analysis purposes to help better our district's goals. We have a lot of big goals for improving student collaboration, for increasing our students' test scores, um, all of which can be best done using technology that we have available, but also technology that we can purchase. And so when looking at the DTTP, it's important for our district to think about the goals that we have because technology that we are wanting to acquire and the technology that we have can all help us do that. But it's important that we do it in the right way. And the technology plan as outlined will help our school district focus on the real needs and the real goals that we currently have, as well as the needs and the goals that will best help us get to where we want to be.